got to this part, I sort of had a mini vision that made me extremely emotional. And unfortunately, I'm not recording myself. I'm using my phone to record this audio, but even right now, it's making me emotional. Back then, trees, even till now, okay, just the reason why I'm saying back then, I'm not saying back then because it doesn't exist anymore, but back then because it's significant. Trees used to serve as witnesses. With every tree, there's a spirit. There are even this tree itself has its own spirit, its own energy. But then even trees can be inhabited by spirits. So generally we believe that even trees have their own energy and what they do for the universe, but we go further to believe that there are spirits that live inside trees. And for that reason, we consider trees witnesses. Let's say you want to warn your son. Your son is stealing something. Let's say it's 12. Well, okay, I'm trying to think of a year long ago. Maybe year 1201 or something. Your son has been stealing. You have warned them that the day that they get caught, and then there used to be really rash consequences for stealing, because it just, no, you can't steal. Anyway, if you were caught stealing, your mother's warned you, punished you, slapped you, still are not stopping. Especially if you still are not stopping, but even before it gets to that point, they will take you to a tree. Let's say that the area of the community that you inhabit, your family has been there for ages, for years. There's a tree that has always been there, or it could even be just a tree, it could be any tree, but there are specific trees, that tend to be like the cotton tree, the araba, those ones tend to be big in size, or even the iroko, especially trees that are rather big. The person's mother would take them by the tree and say, "This tree, bear me witness, bear me witness. I've warned this child to stop this bad behavior, but they're not listening." The tree has, again, the tree has a special connection even to Ile. Ile is a deity in their own right, because the tree grows from there. So it's like, sort of like a messenger plus like, would I even say a spirit guide? But many times, even like an helper, even the earth feeds us with trees. So with trees, especially when they grow certain foods or fruits or something. So they are messengers, they are spirit guides, and they are messengers. So the mother would say, "Bear me witness, I'm warning this child." And when it gets to the point that your mother reports you to a tree or has a tree bear witness, they are at that point, they're sort of dissociating themselves mentally from whatever happens to you if you continue that bad behavior. So there are many symbolic acts like that. Let's say people want to relax. They relax by the tree, not just for the shade that it provides, but they're also witnesses. The tree is also a witness. You're sharing the moment. To the Yoruba person, a living thing is not just a thing that has a nose. An animal or a human, even plants are living. That is why we would say, sometimes when it gets around 6 p.m. and this is actually a scientific phenomenon that leaves actually sleep. When it's around 6 p.m., herbalists feel that at that point, because the sun is no longer shining on the plants and such, whatever the case may be, there's a whole theory to it. The plant has slept. That is why in the Yoruba culture we say "eweti sun." So we do accord human-like attributes to plants and what is generally called non-living thing, but we consider them living. They are also beings that we share the earth with. So that's one thing. Now, bringing it to the slavery context, the vision that I had, so somewhat like a tree that was crying. And it's a very, it's a very upsetting thing, but the people were lynched by a tree, coming from a culture that in which the tree is respected, and a bunch of white people, because you've chosen to escape, or you've suffered enough, there's only so much that one can take, or even you just have an opinion and you state it, or something, as ridiculous as it sounds, you get hanged. It's it may not be upsetting for the people who are perpetrating the evil, but it's upsetting for the tree. And so the tree cries. And so a lot of trees that, and you will be quite surprised that a lot of the trees that were used in hanging people still stand till this day. There are lots of traumatized trees. If you suddenly see a tree that really shouldn't, is a really strong tree, okay? It's a really strong tree. It's not a tree that any kind of breeze should blow. But if you see that some kind of wind just blows, or some kind of temporary storm, especially those really strong trees, and you see them break or fall to the ground, it's many times, it's the tree themselves choosing to bow out. There are lots of trees that have chosen to bow out through hurricanes and tornadoes, especially around the areas in which people were enslaved and even unlawfully imprisoned. So, okay, see, the way that I see things and the visions that I get, perhaps, it could be, I'm a Pisces ascendant. I'm meant to be connected to some kind of realm that is non-earthly, but also because I'm a 7. Sometimes it's probably this channel that has given me the opportunity to share lots of my thoughts, because sometimes I just keep them to myself because they're somewhat, in the esoteric category. What I'm talking about, I'll probably refer to in a separate video. And, the importance of hugging trees, the ones that are still standing, that have not bowed out as a result of tornadoes or something, since the ones that existed in the 1800s and still do today, interestingly, why we need to hug trees. It's a whole thing. It's another 1 hour of talking. So I'm just going to let you go.
Àfùgbọ́gàgà tó lórí ọ̀pọ̀ rẹ̀ létí ìdúdú padà tó àsálà tó lóbi ìlú àkókò wọn bí wọn gbẹ́ yọ.